Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Oh my gosh. So busy of a day. And I gotta ask everyone, what the heck is up with the sales funnel this like last 2 months?
Mm.
There's a million coming in, there's nothing. There's a million coming in, there's nothing. Like I like to think that over the past 4 years, I've gotten a pretty good measure for when people like to buy things and when things slow down. Not this year.
That all goes back to my strong, belief in the analogy that sales is rat's blood and chicken bones.
Yeah.
And I gave up trying to understand that voodoo years ago. I know there are salespeople out there who do that voodoo really, really well. You have nothing but my admiration. But that ain't me. I can't. So it's too much.
Yeah, I think the big thing is you just gotta kind of go with the flow.
Mhm.
Sometimes, you're like, because I mean, it was like end of August, we just got like a billion people came in, and it's like, holy crap. Okay, usually we're just like we're expecting like the funnel to start kick up because people are entering into the school year, things are going, but no, it's like all of a sudden, wham! Like it just was like one after another, which is great. But I wasn't expecting the busyness for later. And then
Yeah.
so and all of a sudden it got really quiet when it was supposed to be busy. So we were just like a couple weeks ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And here we are again. Like we're kind of in this little weird okay, where are we kind of area? Like, okay, are we expecting more to come in? And all of a sudden, like just today, like things just started picking up again. I'm like, what is going on out here? Like, and I asked people, like, well, what's inspiring you to buy? What's inspiring you to come into the funnel? And it's just various things. People just were thinking about it, or they read a Reddit thread, or they happen to be talking to one of their peers about it. And I
Yep.
don't know how it is with MSPs and with your clients when they come in surges, if there's something specific you can point to, or sometimes it's just that time of year.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're sitting at the beginning of the federal budget cycle. So a lot of people are thinking through their budgets. I know we're in a government shutdown, but still, like people are still thinking through their budgets that have been approved
Hmm.
for this year. Some people are entering quarter 4 and thinking, "Oh crap, I forgot to get all this stuff done," and so now they're thinking through like, "Okay, what does this look like?"
Yeah. Well, and I think we talk about things like this, and I've always got some sort of quip or whatever about it. But I think that one of the best punchline sort of jokes out there is if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your
Tell them your
plans.
plans.
You know, um, but that's actually I thought of that. I thought, wait, this is actually a really great lead into our topic today
Yep.
about client meetings. Um, you know, we've maybe been conditioned over the years to be jaded about, oh, well, we're going to talk about this, or we're not going to talk about that, and those meetings never go the way we want.
Yep.
Working with someone just yesterday, I think, and we're kind of getting really into this topic a bit, and they're like, yeah, it was going to be a quick 30-minute or less meeting, and I had to cut it off in an hour. And that is a common element, but we can't just give up on trying. I think we've got to be able to roll with it, when things kind of come off the rails a little bit, but we can, come at this from a perspective of, yes, we're going to have structure. We're going to accommodate when things go a little bit sideways. But if we have a framework, a structure to, an idea, a well-defined goal in these meetings, the vast majority of them are going to be way more successful than these roll in and go, all right, let's chat. Right. Those just don't provide the value that I think everybody really would like to see out of a meeting.
Yeah. I've always been a big fan of, like, I used to hate going to meetings. Like, just let me do my job. Why
Mm-hmm.
are you inviting me to meetings? This meeting should have been an email. I'm
That's
sure I'm
that phrase
sure all
right
the
there.
generals
Yeah.
earlier this week thought this meeting could have been an email. Uh, you know,
Yep.
but it's like, like the look on the faces, like I've been there. But what if you've went to a meeting, have you ever been to a meeting where like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we had that meeting.
Yes.
We got so much done. Every once in a while in our weekly meetings, we're like, oh gosh, this was a great meeting. Like we got a lot done. I feel like we moved forward on a bunch of items. Everybody's got their agendas, what they need to do. And so we move forward. But there's other times when it's like, you don't the meeting, like, it was a meeting.
Yeah.
And that happens. You're not always going to be on. But today we're going to show you with Q4, how do you make meetings that matter? And there's some cool tricks to this that actually help you decide who should be in the meeting, what should be discussed, and kind of tracking and making sure that you stay on task. Because the worst thing you can do in a meeting is get off task and start rambling.
Yes.
And you don't want that to happen in a meeting. If that happens in a meeting, you dismiss and you reconvene.
Yep.
I think it was I think George Bush used to do that. Like in his he would have a cabinet meeting and people would just start rambling and get off topic and he would just stand up and leave.
Oh, that's
I've
heard George Bush speak, you know. that's a pretty bold move, but it's effective, it sounds like. I mean, you got to stay on point.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a great public speaker, but evidently he ran a tight meeting. So anyway, Skip and I got kind of chewing on a bone this morning, and I've been chewing on it ever since while doing meetings and like trying to like figure out why so many new deals are coming in, and start sneaking in some lunch in there, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to show you guys a little bit what we're doing, and in the process of us thinking this through, it's going to show you how I think through meetings and how I design meeting agendas. And this is going to help you be more successful at meeting agendas, help you understand where you should be. And so what we did was I've gotten really into Replit the last couple weeks. And yes, it's costing me about $50 every 3 days because I'm asking so many things, but I'm learning so much. It's still cheaper than going to college and learning this.
Hey, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, man.
Yeah. So we were sitting in our morning meeting and like Skip asked a question or something like that. I was like, well, why can't we just make this? And I'm like, wait a minute, we can.
Yep.
And so I started designing this at about 9 o'clock this morning. I put a couple prompts in. I've just had it chewing on things, and I've gotten a lunch in. I've met with a couple clients today. I have done some budgetary items. And so like I've been busy this morning, but I haven't spent all my time doing this. So the result that you're going to see here is a meeting agenda tool. And the goal here is for us to digest any given site and have it output a nice formatted agenda. Let me get my screen over here and share screen. There we go. So I'm going to share the entire screen here. And for those of you who are not familiar with vibe coding, the idea is that you've got an LLM that is listening to what you're saying. This isn't ChatGPT. This is not Perplexity. This is not a research engine. This is a full stack development suite. So what I've done is I initially prompted it. What I like to do is I like to have wrappers around my meeting agenda. So I'm going to go all the way to the top. And so this is the original prompt we had. What I want to do is create a site that digests the content of, say, a link and gives us a meeting agenda. Now, this sounds boring, but you look into what my prompts were. What did I expect? I expect content to be a list of projects. I expect there to be ticket modules. I expect to discuss separate meeting agendas with a timer that's going to discuss everything we're doing. These are the core elements to a successful meeting.
Yep.
What projects are being worked on. And I should probably put in a who's working on each project, make sure that's highlighted, and then have a timer to make sure everything is time boxed.
Well, let me insert one there on you before you go too far, because I think there's another element, and sometimes it is really good. I mean, if nothing else, that you define the why. Why are we having this meeting? And, sometimes that is a good litmus test to say, well, maybe we don't. Maybe I could just do this in an email. All right. But, and so that's maybe an oversimplification, but there are many times we do meetings just because we think we're supposed to meet, but we don't have a clear goal of what we're trying to accomplish. So before you get into all those items that Adam is listing out there, I think that's the number one item that you need to identify. And it has to be an answer that both you and the other participants agree upon. And if it's just one of you, then it's one of those situations where the other person's going, oh my gosh, why am I being called into this meeting? So define the why we're going to have this meeting.
Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I selfishly am optimizing this for my webpage. So so I've got my weekly digest here, right? So this thing should bring in and look at the projects that are coming up, look at any assets that may be expired or anything. I said anything that's over 5 years old, kind of prioritize. I haven't really dived too much into the asset part of it, but I've given it some prompts. Then the shell of what needs to be done is here. It is looking good. So read into there, read through the site, recommended actions, review service, IT consulting, timeshare. So active projects, what they're worth, how much they're doing. And because I love dark mode, I just put it into dark mode.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah. And so you flip down, you can see these, and then I can go back to the site and I will look at the descriptions that come out of each of the projects. But this isn't a meeting, so this is just kind of a pretty little view of the world.
Yeah.
So let's go and say, let's look at a meeting agenda. Cool. It has broken things out into what I refer to as a meeting agenda. Now, what are the important aspects to a meeting? What did I prompt it with? Now, outside of here, I did a bunch of bug fixes and I did some minor cosmetic fixes, just a few prompts. But look at my original request. I needed a time box, right? So I'm going to start. And so this time box is going to start going. It's highlighted the first thing we need to be talking about. Once I am done, I check this off. We are done.
Yeah.
And so we move down to the next one. And what I'll probably do is put it how much time did we spend on these? And it's kind of like how 90.io does it, how several other meeting tools do it. How much time do we spend on each one? And so you can see here, what are we doing for this 20 minutes? So here in the segue, we're just going to talk about each other. We're going to say, hey, what's going on? How's your day? And then you come down here and you can say, well, what's the next thing? We need to discuss these projects that are coming up. And then what I should do is I should have it bring in those projects from the previous page and list them here. Talk about these 16 projects and put them in, or have something where I can pick a project, but I can click edit on this and I can mess this around and I can make it look however I want, but I've got the meeting going. Add in the notes here. Hey, let's talk about anything major is going on. Let's talk about the active quarter. What are we going to do next? So we've talked about major items here, any issues that are on top of people's minds. And then we come down here and we talk about the active quarter. And we're going to talk about what's going on. What are we going to do tomorrow? What are we doing today? And get that in and get everybody on the same line. And so, as you can see, it's kind of brought in some things from that view. I just haven't linked projects here yet. Because what's important is that we stay on topic, that we do a roundtable discussion of successes and learnings. What else do we need to know? I like to do this a little earlier sometimes. This is a general meeting agenda. But look what happens after we are done here. We've got a full hour-long agenda. We've wrapped up everything. We have action items in place. Who's doing what? These are key things. When you end the meeting, everybody should have had a say in what's going on. We should have gathered information from everyone at the table. If somebody did not speak up during the meeting, they probably didn't need to be there.
Yep, that's right. And that when we prep for meetings, and I've seen this many, many times. I've seen people work on agendas. All right, they're starting out with the right idea, but they're trying to fill the time box. And they're thinking, all right, this is an hour-long meeting. I need an hour worth of context to talk about. All right. And that right there is probably the first and key differentiator of what is going to make a successful meeting or not. If you are planning for talking and providing all the information for nearly 100% of the meeting, then it's an email. All right. Just send it out. So your target on that should be at least a 50-50 split, so that you're working with your clients. There's going to be spots where you need to tell a little bit more, but they need to be asking questions. They need to be understanding, coming at this from different perspectives, so that the meeting is productive. So again, meetings are going to go different ways, different types and people and all that. But if you can shoot for that 50% mark, then those are going to be much, much more successful meetings. Does it end up being 60-40 one way or the other? Close enough, right? You want participation from everybody in the meeting. If not, those people that didn't participate are going to start to feel like, couldn't I just get the meeting notes? We're doing so many of these meetings online, and so many of the AI tools are sending out great summaries. They're like, nah, I'll skip the next meeting and just send me the summary. All right. That's not productive. So we want interaction. And this is where it gets really important, where the follow-up to that, why are we having this meeting, is who needs to be in attendance in this meeting. So if you have a meeting, the why is to review tickets. All right. There is a time and place where we need to go over that. But the CEO role, the executive role in your customer, doesn't need to be in a ticket review. That's an operational sort of item. So don't invite the executive role. All right. I know some people wear multiple hats, so I always talk about in the role. All right. Don't invite that role to the meeting. Make sure you invite the operations or the office manager sort of role to that one. They're going to be more vested in it and it'll be more productive. Now, the counter to that is the strategy meetings. If we want to establish what are they going to do in 2026, 2027, all right? If you bring in the office manager role in that, they at best can only reiterate what the executive role has told them, and they might not have told them everything. So those meetings are going to be, again, very unproductive because we don't have the right role in it. So always line up the why to the who. And that is going to be one of the elements that, without you doing a lot of work, will shift the dynamic so that you're both participating in that conversation. Because again, if you're doing a strategic sort of meeting with the office manager, they can't contribute much other than parroting things that they've already been told. So they can't collaborate with you. They can't idealize, different aspects. You need that executive role in those meetings. So match those up carefully.
So while Skip was talking there, I'm like taking notes on what he's saying and what I would like to see improve. So I have improved this meeting, and I will publish this after this is all done for anybody to watch and read and look at. And so if you guys want to play around with this meeting agenda creator, feel free. Just know that I'll be continuing to update it. Eventually, we'll do a final version so you can see what this meeting agenda thing looks like. And maybe you want to use it in your meetings. And so I'll link it in the Humanize IT profile. Like, hey, you want to create a meeting agenda? Yep. We'll help you create it here. It's a one-off tool. It's not integrated into our tool set. It is just a dumpster fire of a meeting agenda. Maybe that's what we should call it section, Skip. We've been talking about that. We're talking about the tool heap or the crap pile, but maybe we should just call it dumpster fire tools. What's on top of the dumpster fire today? And oh, that's a really cool one. I got my warranty lookup. I've got my meeting creator, and you can decide what you want to use. This is a really cool thing. I like how it started. I like how it's kind of put this together. I like the fact that it views us. I don't think it's as nice as this, but that's because we've been designing this for years.
Yeah.
I like this format, but being able to crank things into here where it's a little bit clean, it's a little bit more focused on like presentation as a meeting, then cool, let's do that. Let's build this, and maybe someday we'll make this a integration into our product.
Yeah,
where we just
cool.
immediately export things out to this. We'll see. Maybe if you guys all love this, and I'm like, hey, can we just have this integrated in Humanize IT? Sure. But for now, I plan on making it so that it digests a PDF you have. I plan on making it so it digests, like a website that you've got information on, and just builds a meeting agenda for you.
Or the, wink, wink, nod, nod here, a persona link. So, you get a persona in our platform. It's got all the information on there, feed that persona link into this tool. And now you have an agenda, and you can use your agenda off to the side, but drive with a Humanize IT persona or dashboard, whatever you want to call it. And with that, you've got all your contextual information, but you've got the dynamic content around that to support any deeper dives you need to do. The information's all right there at your fingertips.
So here I'm going to do say, and once it's done doing this, create an item, the ability to create an item on a agenda to add an item.
Mm-hmm. Now, while Adam's doing this, let me share this little activity that I've
done with this here. We're gonna see it be able to create. So I would love to be able to say, hey, hit a plus sign over here. There it is. Oh,
there we go. It's already there.
Oh, that's for the issues and action items. I want to be able to say, Skip Ziegler, buy more toilet paper.
Never have enough.
Done. Right. So that's going to be added in there. And if it builds the export function appropriately, I should be able to export this whole thing to PDF, and I should be able to read it later.
Yep.
And here we'll have our action items, and it's frozen in time, and we can say we're done with this meeting.
Yep.
Oh, it's rebooting. I was wondering how I was going to do the PDF or Word export. It's really neat when it goes out and finds an open one, or it finds an open source ability to do this, or some built-in capacity within ChatGPT or somewhere. And so it's building, it's looking nice. It remembers things. But what I've got here is everybody needs to understand you can do this with a pencil and a piece of paper. This is not complex stuff. We don't need to have a meeting that's super complex. What we need to be able to do is have a meeting that makes sense, that people can wrap their brains around, but also know that it can't just keep going on and on and on about.
Yeah.
So I like how I'm able to design this. And I had a really interesting thought the other day. So for you Halo users out there, everything you look at in Halo is an API call. There's no reason you can't vibe code an entire new front end to Halo if you really want to.
There we go.
So you just got to have your API keys handy. So generate some API keys, be very careful, and design out a view that you want. This is incredible stuff. And we want to continue this. We want to continue this excellence. But when you talk to your clients, be more deliberate about this stuff.
Yes.
Don't just guess. Don't just throw things together, or don't just show up and hand somebody a quote. That's not a meeting. That is a receipt sharing session.
Yep.
No one wants the car salesman to come up to them and hand them a $40,000 quote for a car. We haven't even talked about what I wanted yet. No, I can tell. Yeah. You're a big guy. You look like a large Nebraskan. You want a F-250 town. You want an F-250.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but I'd really like to talk you through. I would like a couple features on it. I would like to, I'd like to have the in the bed trailer connector. I'd like to be able to do a gooseneck. I'd like to be able to, I need it to pull at least 15,000 pounds. And all of a sudden, you can see the person go, but I've got a quote for you already.
Yeah.
But that doesn't fit my needs.
Yeah. And that happens way too often. And I'm not just talking about car sales. that happens way too often.
I'm sure that Corvette is a great price. I'm not going to drive it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like my Tesla. If I need speed, I got my Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you out there rolling your eyes, but if I want to do a camper, which is what I'm looking for, I need to have a conversation with the sales guy and explain that I am looking for something, as I said, that I can put a gooseneck in, that I can pull at least 15,000 pounds with, that is going to have the braking system is going to work for me. It's going to have the in-bed trailer hookup. These are things that I really need. And that's part of who I am. But I'd also like to have one that's probably a diesel because I do some mountain driving. I do some long hauls, and I want an engine that's going to survive those long hauls. So anyways, these meeting agendas are built around that. You're in Q4 here. You should be having budgetary meetings right now with your clients. If you have not scheduled your budgetary meetings and you are not having them with your clients this month, you're going to be begging for cash in a couple months. Like, oh,
that's it.
We need to do this thing. Like, oh, well, we don't have that in budget.
Yep.
You're the last at the table. You're not the last to get fed. You get the scraps. You're the first at the table. If you have budgetary sessions today, you are the first to get fed. Yep. And we want you to be the first to get fed. We want to say, hey, look, you already had your plan in front of them before they planned their budget for 2026. You should be handing your clients a budget for 2026 right now. And so that they go, oh, let me scab out cash for that. I really want to have that thing happen next year. I really want to be able to have our kiosks working next year. I really want to have better Wi-Fi next year. Whatever the thing is that they've been complaining about for years, they're going to put into the budget because they're like, oh yeah, they're optimistic now. They haven't reached the end of their, like going, oh,
yeah,
you don't have much cash left, guys.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
All right. So it's still going, like it's still processing, it's trying to figure out some of the timing issues. But look for this. I will put this on LinkedIn. I'll put this below in the comments so that you guys can see it. I'll probably put it in our newsletter here next week, but a great meeting agenda builder. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know the features you'd like to have in it. And we can have a great time with something that's going to matter.
Yep.
And you're going to generate revenue this way. Your clients are going to be happier. A lot of things are going to happen because you have good meetings that matter, that are time boxed, and have the right people in them.
Yep.
All right. This is great, Skip. I was hoping this would finish the render before now, but it'll get there.
Little teaser. Get you to come back.
It's a little teaser, yeah. So the link for those of you guys kind of like looking around here. Oh crap. There we go. The link is, I can never remember where. Oh, there, that is. It's it's meetingmaker-humanizeit.repla.app. So if we actually want to go out, it's broken. It's probably not going to work right now because I'm redoing the engine. But you'll see it here, and we'll eventually have a nice little easy URL for this.
Sure. I'll put that in our resources menu.
Yeah, I'll put it in our resources. Again, I want to mark this as like dumpster fire stuff or extreme alpha vibe code, or we got to put some kind of disclaimer on so people go, this isn't really well done. There's so many bugs on this. You're right. I made that in 30 minutes because it solved a problem for me.
Yeah. It's
like that script you had, that VBS script there we all have. It works. I wouldn't share it with anybody, but it works.
Yeah. It's good inspiration.
Yeah. The inspiration. Like, I used to do so many cool scripts back in the day. I had some great ones that converted emails to PSTs and generated those from open source projects like Squirrel Mail and those, because I did a lot of exchange conversions. I'm sure some of my scripts are floating around out there somewhere, but a lot of it was just a conglomeration of like, I found the script that worked and I just hacked away at it until it got what I wanted done, and then eventually it kind of like grew out of control, and now it's somebody else's.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what this is. I'm hoping to show everybody what this looks like. I'm hoping it starts really working on the public side. Again, this is probably broken right now. I highly doubt this is going to pop up anything right now. It should come up with an error. But let's as a community give back. Give me some thoughts on this. Poke at it. And hey, what would you like to see in a meeting agenda builder? Are you good at meetings? Can you give me a better idea of what should be done?
Yep.
All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you all later. Again, this is fourth quarter. You are at the end of the line here. We warn about this all year. You probably have 6 weeks of actual work time with your clients left.
That's it. That's all.
And it's going to be in a crap fest of Thanksgiving, Christmas, end of year travels, people just trying to close out projects for their fiscal year.
Yep.
All right, everyone. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.